So who was Jesus and what did he represent? Okay, so I talk about Jesus or who Jesus was all the way back in the second episode of Grace Recipient, titled Believing What You Seek. And if you have not listened to that episode, I discussed the true identity of Jesus Christ using scriptures. And I got a lot of scriptures in that episode there. Okay, so there's no mistaking who Jesus Christ is, the manifestation of God. Okay, but what did he represent? Okay, the Bible said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. All right, so there's a discussion about the law, whether or not the law is perfect or imperfect. And I believe the conclusion to this argument is simply this, that the law in its nature is perfect, but is imperfect in its ability to conclude God's plan of salvation or plan of reconciliation. All right, so the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7 says that the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoice in the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. So the nature of God's law was to represent God's holy nature and to hollow out a group of people, all right? But it was not the conclusion of his plan, all right? So by nature, the law did what it was supposed to do in its nature, in what the law was intended to do. In that dispensation, it was successful. The law was perfect in that area. Okay, it carved out a group of people that was called by the name of the Lord, and it represented God as a holy person or a holy entity, or showed God's true holiness. All right. So Hebrews chapter 7 verse 19 said that the law made nothing perfect. Okay, now we're talking about how the law was imperfect. It made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto God. Okay, so the law in its nature, in its originality, in its dispensation was successful. It was perfect in what it was at that time. Okay, but it was going to make nothing perfect. All it was there to do was to hold off and allow a better hope to come in. Okay, Romans 8 verse 3 and 4 says, for what the law could not do, and that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own Son in likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh. But the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. Okay, so the law could not conclude or could not bring the world to reconciliation like grace can, okay? So grace was that better hope that was coming in, but law made way for that dispensation of grace to come in, okay? So the law, though it was perfect in nature, was only part of God's greater plan. And so again, Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have not come to destroy, but I come to fulfill the law. Okay, he's not here to do away with the law, but he is a fulfillment of what the law was intending to do. The law was intending to hold off sin, to keep the destruction of humanity at bay until a better hope came in, which was the manifestation of God, Jesus Christ. When the fullness of time was come, amen, God sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law. Amen. This is the better hope. This is what was going to usher in grace. This was going to bring us to salvation. This was going to be the very reconciliation of the world unto God. All right. So the writer in Hebrews mentioned a prophecy from Psalms chapter 40 in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 7, okay? He says, "Then said I, lo, I come in the volumes of the book, as it is written of me, to do thy will, O God." So this prophecy is basically saying that God saying as it is written in the volume of the book, meaning the collections of the law and prophecies. All right, now keep this verse in mind, okay, because I'll come back to it later. "Then said I, lo, I come in the volumes of the books, as it is written of me, to do thy will, O God."